Okay, welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about 4 things that I don't do anymore at 48. And yeah, let's just dive into it. The reason for I'm doing this channel is that I want to create a YouTube channel about rediscovering yourself after 45. I think a lot of people start to look at things differently when they reach this age, and I just want to share, what I have found out doesn't benefit me anymore. So here it is. I have a few pointers here just to be able to remember all the things I'm going to say, but there are 4 things. Number 1 is chasing other people's definition of success. I value my free time today. I don't chase money. I make enough money, but I'm not trying to make more. I rather want to spend time with my family and have like just a regular home, a regular car. I live a pretty frugal lifestyle, I would say. So, and it gives me a lot of freedom. It gives me freedom to, work less and be with my 2 little kids that I really like to do. So, yeah. So I mean, today it's a lot about having the right job, having the right house, having the right certificate or education, and yeah, and I see a lot of people that are just in burnout. Like a burnout is really common now in Iceland. Yeah, and it's directly related to just stress at work and trying to balance everything. A lot of people are going to universities alongside work. They're trying to update themselves on their skills and yeah, so that can be a challenge. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I think a lot of people are striving for too much at the same time, and yeah, that's just my opinion. Okay, so number 2 is explaining myself all the time. Before, when I was younger, when somebody asked me if I could come and do something with them or do this or certain thing, I would always try to over-explain myself why I didn't want to do it. So I could never just say, I don't want to do it. I would rather go around or run around the bush and trying to give some kind of rational excuse for why I couldn't do it, instead of just saying, look, I'm busy or I have other things to do. And I was too afraid to see the reaction of the other people. I didn't want to hurt their feelings or something like that. And so that's just what I stopped doing. I worked on my codependency a little bit through the years, and not to be mean to other people, but you just have to learn to say no to certain things. And if people don't like that, that's just how it is. And it could mean that you're gonna maybe even lose some friendship or some time together, and that can be hard. But I think it's important to really evaluate, what benefits you, how do you want to spend your time, and be clear about it. So yeah, these are 2 things. We're going to go into number 3 now, and it's going to loud places. And that, what I mean is like loud events like concerts or sporting events or, loud bars or something like that. And I just avoid these things now. I can just feel that noise gives me a headache. I get tired of being around a lot of noise. Having 2 kids in the house is noisy enough sometimes. It's enough for me. I mean, I don't complain about it, but I don't feel like I have to do more of it. And the last concert, for example, like big concert I went to is in 2018. I went to see Pearl Jam in Barcelona, and I was more like tagging along with other people, but I enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun. But I don't feel like I need to be spending a lot of money to seeing some famous people sing. I like to listen to music at home, and I used to listen to a lot of rock and roll back in the days, and like techno music, and those days are over. Well, I enjoy listening to rock music at home, but I mainly listen to jazz and even some classical music now, because I just feel like it makes me feel good while I'm working or just relaxing. So yeah, that's just one of the things I don't do anymore. I do, however, when I meet friends, like we meet like 3 or 4 times a year, like old friends. We're all rather busy people today, but we keep in touch, and occasionally we might meet in a bar, but that's usually during the daytime and when it's a little bit less crowded and more toned down. So, and we are usually finished around like 7 or 8, and then we go home. And number 4 is a big one, I think, and it's something has really benefited me, I think. It's to trying to get everything perfect before starting. When I was younger, I was very afraid to doing mistakes. I was always in the in the belief system that if I would make mistakes, something terrible would happen. And what I found out later, and people always say to you, you know, you learn from your mistakes. But I really didn't understand this simple concept when I was younger. It's like, why not try to avoid making the mistakes and get it right the first time? But I think that if you do mistakes and you do big mistakes, you learn a lot. And you learn that this is something that you definitely don't want to happen again. And that's why I think, for example, smart CEOs and smart heads of companies, when their employees does something like screws up pretty bad, they usually give them another chance, because to see if, you know, is he going to make sure this never happens again? Because a lot of people, they make sure that, you know, they don't want this embarrassment again, so they try everything they can to avoid this happening. And it took me a long time to really learn this. I'm not going to say skill, but you have to like try to embrace it and really look at it what it is, so you can make sure to how to handle it the next time you encounter this problem. And and trying to get everything perfect, it kind of means that you won't, it's going to take you a really long time to start the thing they are doing, because you can always find some excuse for, you know, not really starting. A lot of us are afraid to take the steps necessary, and it's really easy to find an excuse. No, I have to do this, or you know, I have to make sure this is correct before I start going, instead of taking imperfect action. I'm a fan of that. You're probably going to hear a lot of people say this today, like take imperfect action, because the road is never straight. It's always, you know, you go to the left, you go to the right, you go to the left, you know, all kind of swerves, and but eventually the, you know, the swerves or the curves are gonna be less and less. So it's gonna be, the more you do it, the more you're gonna learn, and the better you're gonna be doing the thing that you wanna strive for. And I think it's good to, you know, just start where you are, even though, let's say you want to do YouTube, or, you know, want to start a business or something like that. I mean, nobody knows this stuff, all of this stuff from the beginning, and you learn by doing and just taking baby steps, even though, you know, just take one small step a day. And how I look at things is, you know, I'm competing with a lot of other people, and if I can learn one thing today, it's probably gonna be one more thing that I know versus the people that are not taking action. So you might think that there's a lot of competition out there, and it is, but there are a lot of people that never take action. So if you're just going to learn one thing today, that's going to be one more thing than those people that never do anything. And that's how I try to look at things today. Instead of like thinking like I have to know everything, I think of this like a long-term marathon and getting a little bit better each day. So these are just four of a very few things. These are just four things of many things I have stopped doing after I'm 45, but I don't want this video to be too long, so maybe I'll do another one in time. And if you feel like this is something that resonates with you, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and tell me, tell me in the comments if you have some ideas for other things, like I would like to hear about them. Thank you.